went, and then even then some, and then that's when he's going to get the Macedonia vision, actually in Mysia. Is that how you say it? Mysia? Mysia. So that's where he's going to get. So Mysia is up here, in that, that's a region. So that's where he's going to get the Macedonia vision to go over and cross into Europe. So that's really cool. Is that like that's where, as we're traveling on this bus, I'm just thinking, like, yes, it's not like he's making a beeline to wherever he's going. He's strengthening where he's been. Because he spent quite a few, I think a year and a half, if I'm not mistaken, in the first missionary journey, and then he's going back. So it's interesting that that's where we are, and that's where we're going.
Where did he pick up Lydia? Was that up in Lystra or Derbe?
So
Lydia?
he picked Lydia, Philippi. So that's
Philippi.
where, So
Lydia. That'll be over closer to Greece.
In Greece.
In Greece, okay.
So,
okay.
And let's see. Here, I'll just read. I'll tell you what. I'll just read some of the scriptures for us as we we'll pick up. So let's look. All right. So in Iconium, Paul and Barnabas went as usual into the Jewish synagogue, where they spoke so effectively that a great number of Jews and Greeks believed. But the Jews who refused to believe stirred up the other Gentiles and poisoned their minds against the brothers. So Paul and Barnabas spent considerable time there, speaking boldly for the Lord, who confirmed the message of his grace by enabling them to perform signs and wonders. The people of the city were divided. Some sided with the Jews, others sided with the apostles. There was a plot among both Gentiles and Jews, together with the leaders, to mistreat them and stone them. But they found out about it, and they fled to Lycaonian cities of Lystra and Derbe and the surrounding country, where they continued to preach the gospel. And then in Lystra there sat a man who was lame. He had been that way from birth and had never walked. He listened to Paul as he was speaking, but Paul looked directly at him, saw that he had faith to be healed, and called out, "Stand up on your feet." And that time the man jumped up and began to walk. When the crowd saw what Paul had done, they shouted in the Lycaonian language, "The gods have come down to us in human form." Barnabas they called Zeus, and Paul they called Hermes, because he was the chief speaker. The priest of Zeus, whose temple was just outside the city, brought bulls and wreaths to the city gates, because because the crowd wanted to offer sacrifices to them. Question. So it says that they brought bulls and wreaths. Does that have anything to do with the Bull Mountain?
Probably not.
Probably, okay. Just wanted to make sure. Because it was interesting. Now that I'm reading, you got the Bull Mountain, he had to pass through to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but when the apostles, Barnabas and Paul, heard this, they tore their clothes and rushed out of the crowd, shouting, "Friends, why are you doing this? We are only human, just like you. We are bringing you good news, telling you to turn from these worthless things to the living God, who made the heavens and the earth and the sea and everything in them. In the past he let all nations go their own way, yet he has not left himself without testimony. He has shown kindness by giving you rain from heaven and crops in their seasons. He provides you with plenty of food and fills your hearts with joy." Even with these words, they had difficulty keeping the crowd from sacrificing to them. So I'll just stop right there. One of the things that's interesting when you read Paul's speeches in Acts, when he speaks to the synagogue, Jews, he has a different speech and a different, a different kind of message. Obviously, still anchored in the good news of Jesus, but he's going to reason with them mainly through scriptures. Here, he has a predominantly pagan audience, and they're wanting to understand, okay, how in the world did you just perform these signs and miracles? And he's going to begin with creation. And so there's this term in theology that they call special grace and common grace. And so particularly in this message that he's given and explaining the signs and miracles, he's going to root it into the Creator. And then he talks about this common grace, that this Creator, this God, he has given you everything that you need, even the joy that you have. This God has given you that joy, and your crops, the rain that you experience that produces fruit, that is this God. He is a God of grace, and so he's going to use common grace to begin to move to special grace, which is the gospel, the good news of Jesus. And so just to pause there. Okay, here, I'll let you. No. So this is the city gates right here that we're going through.